I said last time how could it be that religious people, they're studying Torah and then they go and do bad things afterwards? What happened to the Torah they learned? Why doesn't it give them that boost that they will be protected now from doing sins? How could it be that the power of the Torah, which is a distillation, which is like in a vitamin form, godliness and holiness, it doesn't just like boost them up? They're so like powerful now that all the Yitzhahara is like in shambles. Why are they still falling prey to the sin? In yeshiva, you have we said some boys, they go in their free time do things they're not supposed to do. Or Hasa Shalom, you have even people who are leaders who fall into do horrible things. They're Torah leaders. How could it be? So he said, the Tanya says that the way that you change the way you think and the way that you get the levush, the spiritual clothing of the mitzvot and the or pnimi of the Torah to go inside of you, and the way you digest the holiness is only when you learn Torah lishma. It has to be Torah lishma. Well, what does lishma mean? And so there's many different taichas, very different explanations. But the Tanya said, lishma hainu kedei lekasher nafsho laHashem aidei hasagat Torah. When a guy's learning, what is he learning for? He's learning because I'm here wanting to know God's will. I am here, I want to connect to Hashem via this Torah, via this mitzvah. We know that mitzvah is albash, it's yukevavke. So you're literally absorbing a part of Hashem inside of yourself more and more, and thinking more like Hashem, acting more like Hashem. But it only happens if you have your intention. If your intention is for kavod, if your intention is this is my job, I have to do this. If your intention is because I have some ulterior motive, so you don't get this boost that the spirituality is supposed to give you. You don't get this boost that the Torah is supposed to give you, and then you're prone. It's open season for the klipa to grab you and to bring you down because you're not learning the Shema. So therefore, the Arizal writes in the beginning of Shar Gigulim, I believe, somewhere in Shar, one of the Shemona Shmarim, he writes over there in the Akadama, he says that, Chaim Vital, he says that, how do you know if someone's learning the Shema? So there's a Pirkei Avot. Pirkei Avot says whoever is learning the Shema, he's zocher arbet varim. He's zocher to many things. He's like a spring that is giving forth, and he's making a lot of chidushim. And you see that the Torah is growing around him, and you see the fruit. You see zocher arbet varim. You see he has siyat d'shmaya. So there's ways to see if someone's learning the Shema or not. But the point is that why do we see he's learning and things not growing? Things are not he's not improving. He's not protected from sins because he's not learning lishma. He needs to work on learning lishma. Okay, fine. So he says the mitzvot, just like we say achalta v'savata by food, so to your soul needs spiritual food, which is the mitzvot, the Torah. And we said the Torah is on a higher level than the mitzvot. Torah keneged kulam. He explained according to Kabbalah because Torah is or pnimi, and the mitzvot is only or makif, right? Or makif is the surrounding light. Is like concepts that are like around you. You didn't absorb them, but you know about them, and they're around you. And then or pnimi is the inner light where you absorbed it. It became part of you. When you learn Torah, the mitzvot now become part of you. You learned about the tefillin. What's the meaning behind the tefillin and the chidushim of the tefillin? So now the tefillin is connected to you deeper. It's inside of you. The lessons of the tefillin are in your bones now, as opposed to when you just wore tefillin. Okay, I wore tefillin. I felt spiritual, but I don't know really what's going on. It's just like or makif. So he says, "Mitlabesh ba biyuna limuda." He says now when a person is going to be studying the Torah in depth and studying it. Habitually, constantly, setting aside time to learn Torah, then he'll be able to absorb it in his body and become his or pnimi. Another level that helps is when you speak out the words. You learn Torah, you're not just reading it with your eyes, you're speaking it out. It says, Mohaim him, motziehim. What is it's a life, Torah is life for those who find it, the Pasuk says. And the Gemara Eruvin says, don't read it in Motzi the ones who find it. Motzi Ehem, the ones who are Motzi, the ones who speak out the words. Then it's Hayim. Then it's going to be life force for you. Meaning, part of absorbing the spirituality is learning the Torah in a specific way, which means including speaking out the words. By other lahavdil, other religions or therapies, They make you say a mantra. They make you repeat things out loud, and it absorbs different than if you just were quiet and said it in your mind. When you say the words out loud, there's a vibration you create. Obviously spiritually, oz malachim you create when you say the words out loud. So therefore, you should know Torah is not like science and college material you learn. So you study, you read it 1,000 times, you probably remember it, right? Or you make flashcards, you remember, you get a song out of it. The Torah is something spiritual. And anything spiritual, Hashem told us how to approach it and how to absorb it. And you got to follow that formula. You got to follow the prescription. If you follow the prescription, you're going to absorb it. It's going to connect you. What's the prescription? Lishma. You have to say the words out loud. It has to be habitual. It has to be every day in the morning, in the evening. It has to be you're learning in depth according to the level that you can handle. And if it's in the book, it's in the book. If you only can handle a shir online, you're a shir online. But you have to follow the prescription. You're not following the prescription, don't cry afterwards when you don't get healed. When you're still having the same, problems, the same symptoms. You didn't take the antibiotics the right way. You got to take the prescription the right way, and these are the details that we mentioned. And he says that when you speak, not just do you get the or pnimi, now you also get the or makif. That's why we said Torah has or pnimi and or makif. Mitzvot is only or makif. But when you speak out the words of the Torah, so now you have a double whammy. You have both. So that was the end of Perek. Hey, now we're going to start Perek Vav. Okay, fine. So now we were speaking last time about the Sechel. That was the Chochmah Bina Da'at, Chabad. And now we need to speak about the bottom half of the 7 Sfirot, the 7 Midot. We said according to how your Sechel is how your Midot are going to be. The more you raise your Sechel, the more you raise your Midot. So, but a person has to know that they're all connected, but they're all important, and we need all of them. So therefore now, that was the spiritual part of your soul, the Nefesh Elokit Mimal. This is the godly soul from above. And now we're going to speak about Nefesh Bahamit. Everybody has Nefesh Bahamit, the animalistic soul, and it attaches to the physical world in the Olam Hazeh. Now we need a Nefesh Bahamit in order to survive in this world. God wants Jews to uplift the physical and make it spiritual. But at the end of the day, we need a test. There's a test, and there's an animalistic part of us that we have to overcome. And it's going to be could be for good or for bad. It's all about if we uplift the klipa or we fall into the klipa. And the one who's smart picks up the orange and takes off the peel, throws away the peel, gets the fruit. The guy who is superficial, he doesn't think too much. He takes the peel, he says, "Oh, this is the fruit, that's it," and he starts eating the peel. It's bitter, and he thinks it's the best. And we're telling the guy, "Hey, you're missing out the best part. You don't even realize there's a fruit over here, and you got to pay attention." Same thing with Israel. A lot of people can look at Israel and say, "Why would I want to live there? What is that? Israelis there are just so tough, and the culture, and all the danger that exists over there." Okay, that's the peel. Israel's like a fruit. You can focus on the peel. You can focus on the fruit. The earth, the land itself is so supercharged. It's the palace of Hashem. You can't imagine praying there and living there and doing mitzvot there like anywhere else in the world. Okay, fine. So therefore, he says like this, the Baal Tanya. He says, "Vehine, according to a person's godly soul, there's an animalistic soul." The Gemara Masechet Sukkah tells us that the bigger you are spiritually, the bigger your Yetzer Hara is. A person will think, "Rabbi, I thought if I become more religious, so now my tests and my sins will become easier to overcome." No, the opposite. It grows with you. It's higher. It's more of a test. It becomes even worse for you, and you need to constantly be learning and doing mitzvot at a level that gives you the boost enough to the horsepower enough to overcome those big tests. That's why the Gemara says they cry. The Rishayim, the Tzaddikim, they cry. Rishayim say, "Oh, my Yetzer Hara was like the hair breadth. I couldn't overcome it." And the Tzaddikim, "Oh, my Yetzer Hara was like a mountain, and I'm crying. How did I overcome this? Unbelievable, beautiful that I overcame this." But the Yetzer Hara is much bigger, much bigger. So he says like this. He says this is also Rav Yoram connects this to Yom Kippur. We have the two goats, right? The one for Hashem and one Azazel. So why is it called Azazel? So they explain that one for Hashem is the Kedusha, and Azazel corresponds to the one of Klippa. Then we know that Zel U'Umat Zeh, if you take the word Azazel, it's Roshei Tevot Zel U'Umat Zeh Asay Elokim. The same letters of Azazel. So meaning to say that the anything in holiness is the equivalent in Klippa. In Israel also, yeshiva boys, they could go to Israel, you could grow a lot, you could learn a lot, or there's a lot of things to be messing around with over there, and there's a lot of tumah, klipa, that Chas V'Shalom person could fall into. Okay, fine. So then he says, it's just like you have a godly soul that has made up of 10 sfirot, the 3 intellects, and the 7 bottom attributes, and they are enclosed in the 3 levush, the 3 clothing, which is the thoughts, the speech, and the deeds of Torah mitzvot. You should know. So too, you have nefesh titrachra. You also have an animalistic soul, a soul that's connected to the other side, connected to the klipa. So what? A person has to know which one do you allow to be your MO? Who's in the driver's seat in your life? Is it the Sitra Achar soul, or is the godly soul? Or these things are known as Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Hara. So therefore a person has to make sure not to allow himself to be attached to the Sitra Achar. Now, he says, Amar Meklipot Noga, המלובשות בדם האדם, כולה 10 כתרים וסבותה, שאין 7 מידות רעות. He says, you should know that your animalistic soul also has 10 sfirot, and they come from klipat noga. Klipat noga is one of the 4 klipot that Chazal tell us exists, and this klipa has the ability to be uplifted. Usually the bottom 3 cannot be; they're purely evil. But the 4th one is in a quasi state. It can be uplifted or it can be pulled down. And our animalistic soul is from klipat noga, that we can uplift our animalistic soul if we want to. Usually the Shnai Mikra Hatargum is the soul of klipat noga, because it's Aramaic, and you uplift that Goyish language and to make it into something holy. The nails are associated with klipat noga. And you could cut the nails before Erev Shabbat. There's also a tikkun for klipat noga. Going to the mikveh before Shabbat is also a tikkun for klipat noga. And all these things help you remove your animalistic soul to be ready to accept more soul of Shabbat. But the idea is that it comes from noga, and they have 10 noga, and they have 10 sfirot, and 7 bottom bad attributes. Meaning all our bad attributes are stinginess, which is the opposite of hesed, right? Gevura, our might to do bad things, or our yesod, our brit for bad things. All these things, they come from the animalistic soul, which has also 10 sfirot of the klipa. Which come from the 4 elements: fire, wind, water, and earth, that we explain that make up our spiritually our soul as well. So therefore he says, and then there's also chokhmah bina dat of the klipa as well, and that's the way that the klipa wants you to think, that you have to hustle and bustle in order to make parnasah. Forget HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Chas V'Shalom, or you have to go and fit in with society, and I have to buy all the things they buy, and I have to impress others, and they have their own Torah and their own chokhmah bina dat, like Esav said to Yaakov, right? Yaakov said, Yesh li kol, I have everything, and Esav said, Yesh li Rav, I have a lot. So now the Kutei Moharan, Rav Nachman explains that Esav told them, Yesh li Rav, I also have my own rabbi. You have your rabbi, I have my rabbi, Esav said. What's my rabbi? My rabbi is my own Torah. The Sitra Achar Torah, the rabbi of Sitra Achar. You go on you could go on Torah anytime, or you could go on Instagram and look at all these rabbis, meaning not rabbis with beards and hats, but influencers who are teaching you how to do shtiyot and being in the side of the klipa. He's a club promoter and he's in that life. He's a gambler and he's in that life. He's a ganav, he's in that life. And there's advice he gives, and there's a whole system how to do it. There's a whole Torah of that side. It's a Sitra Achra. And you should know that they have their own chokhmah bina dat. And the question is, which chokhmah bina dat are you going to let go and make in charge? The Sitra Achra or the Sitra Kedusha? Baruch Hu Adonai Olam.